Episode of the weekly BrYangle Report. This is the final BrYangle of 2025. This is the last show of the year. To everybody who's watched us over the year and a bit, actually 2 years, almost 2 years now, thank you very much. Now, some years for a lot of people have been about growth. I think this year, for many of us, it's been more about survival in many ways. The world is getting down on us in so many ways, and photography has been a good source for many of us for that survival, that peace of mind and that mental health that we all really need. So let's empty that out. Let's empty the junk drawer. Let's empty all of the stuff from 2025. Let's move past the creative and the mental and the technical problems that we've had. And let's only carry forward what really matters to us into 2026. And that's what today's show is about. This is the reset. This is where we're resetting all of the mistakes and all of the frustrations and all of the stuff that we had happen to us in 2025. We're letting it go and we're just starting to focus on the positives. So today I'm going to talk about 10 things to let go and then 10 things to carry forward into 2026. This is not a preachy thing. I'm not telling people what to do. I'm just giving some suggestions, some thoughts. And also, one last thing here before I move on. That was the remote control. They shot me. Have you done your Pixmas photo challenge yet? So last week I did the Pixmas challenge and we issued 12 challenges. Today, you should be up to the bounce magic trick is what today's would be if you started the day after the show last week, which means that you've already done the one light wonder, you've done the film frame, the memory keeper, color outside the lines, the story of two, and the quiet frame already. I know one person who's done them all so far. Bryan's shaking his head no. But keep in mind, guys, if you haven't done those, there are also more to do. We still have Analog Holiday, The Good Noise, The Glow Up, Small Storyboard, and of course, your holiday hero shot. So if you don't know what these all are, if you don't remember them, go to the Henry's YouTube show for last week. I've added them to the notes. You can make your notes and catch up. Doesn't matter if you do them all in one day. They're pretty straightforward challenges. And if you do them all, don't forget, we've got a free set of prints for you to come into the store, and we'll make you a free set of up to 5x7s that will give you no charge for your entire set of photos that you've made. Okay. Yeah, it's a great, that's why I did it the way I did it, right? So you can come in for Christmas and you can print these things and have them in your house and give them as gifts if you want to make extra prints. Try and make some fun photos, right? We all need more fun photos. Now, to frame this episode for you all, of course, I'm going to get into the DigiKnow. There's a very quick one. What's new, again, very quick. Couple things to talk about, not too much. We don't have any used stuff still. I know, we're working on it. So there's no new used things to talk about, but this is going to go really well. And hopefully this will be a fun show for everybody. Before I move on, let me check to see if there's any conversation. Oh, there's a lot of people saying hello. Hello to Ivan. Good to see you watching. Jim Canning, Mr. Michael Drukarsh, Gord Taylor, Debbie, hello to you. Cool, Joe. Ron Gray is watching as well. Ron, Joseph Gray. His name's Ron. Good guy. We go way back, like me and you do. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here and watching. We really appreciate you being here. Of course, again, this is the last show of the year, so if anybody has anything to say, please put it in the chat and I'll see it right away. Merry Christmas to you, Ron, and to Doug watching as well. Cool, awesome. All right, let's move forward because that's the whole point of the shows. What's next? What's moving forward? Let's get to the DigiKnow. Now, this is going to be a little different. I like to keep these DigiKnows into things that are insightful and helpful, not a bunch of confusing stuff. So the best setting on your camera next year isn't tech. It's not buttons. It's not toys. It's literally intention. Think before you shoot. And I think that's something a lot of us don't do enough of. When you're about to make a photo, ask yourself, why this moment? What does this moment have to do with an interesting image and something you want to create? I saw a lot of videos in preparation for the show where people are talking about the 5 things you should do and the 10 things you should do. And the best feature on any camera is the 12 inches behind it. Therefore, ask yourself one simple question. Why is this the moment that you want to make a photo of? Hopefully that'll help you be more, purposeful with when you're shooting. And I think though, that's really where the best photos start, right? Why this moment? So I hope you guys do that next year. It'll be a lot of fun if you do. Now for what's new, it's not too much. First of all, Nikon has a new firmware for the Nikon Z9. Now, the reason I'm talking about this right now is because it's a major firmware. There's not an incremental change. They've actually added a whole bunch of things. It's got advanced subject detection, so now it's using a lot of AI technology. It's creating, they call it Nikon's deep learning technology. It also works in other focus modes, which is really cool for that camera, making it easier to track the intended subject reliably in either single point or dynamic autofocus modes. Now, this is interesting because those of you with the Z8, these are the changes that they made on the previous Z8 major firmware update. So, Mr. Michael Drukarsh, when you did your update, you got this stuff. So pay attention. The firmware also adds a new in-camera focus limiter, which enables the user to restrict the camera's focus range to customized distances. So for example, I want to take pictures of just Bryan, and I don't want the focus to hunt too soon or beyond. I can limit the focus range to be just in that area, so it's going to be much quicker focus for that, unless you get up and move. But you look pretty comfortable, so I think that would work. You're good. And the final significant addition introduced in firmware update 5.30 is flexible color picture control support. Now, this is something that Nikon's been putting on their cameras for, I think, since the Z50 Mark II, the Z5 Mark II, and now it's being introduced to the other cameras through firmware. Essentially, it's just color modes that you can actually create a color profile in your Nikon software on the computer, Nikon NX Studio, the desktop app, and any color profiles that you create there will then transfer back into your camera so you can shoot in camera the exact look that you've created in your computer. So that's kind of a cool feature if you have a specific color that you're working toward. Keep in mind, I do believe this is still just JPEG, but if it's the color you want, you don't have to edit afterward. That's a good thing, I would think. So anyway, those are the new updates there. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, this isn't really a photography per se technical thing that's introduced, but I just want to remind everybody that wildlife is very sensitive, right? And this is important because around this time of year, there are snowy owls that are coming to town. And for those of you who don't remember my conversation about snowy owls and being careful, they will only expend the energy that they have. And if you make them expend energy they don't have, they won't have energy to hunt. And if they can't hunt, you are killing them. So if you see a snowy owl, remember, just watch it from the inside of your car. Don't get out of your car. Don't chase it down by going out into a field to look at it. Please, of all the things you can do, that's like the worst. Except if you go into the Indian rainforest looking for the rare galaxy frog and you destroy their environment by taking pictures of them, that's going to destroy their entire population. And this is what's happened. Wildlife photographers are being accused of destroying habitat of the rare galaxy frog, and the frogs have since vanished. So this is what made me think of the snowy owls here. Obviously, this is in India, rainforest, but apparently these people have been going in and checking on these frogs, not the bad people, the conservationists. And before COVID, they found this little small pocket of very special little frogs. And then they couldn't go back through COVID. Finally, they went back just recently, and they found the entire area was disturbed. The logs that they lived under was turned over, and they found out through investigating in the city that photographers had gone out there and captured 6 of them, killed 2 of them by holding them because they, through their skin and stuff like that. And since then, it's pretty much disrupted the entire thing. There are no more. So be careful with our wildlife. Be careful and be respectful when you're out there shooting wildlife, especially the snowy owls and things like that that we have around here. That's all I ask there. And that's the end of the what's new, what's used. So now I can get into the core conversation, which I'm very excited about because I think this is going to help people. All right, let's first see the chat. Ted is watching. Hello, Santa Clauski in Windsor. Love this show. Happy holidays. Thanks, man. Ted is the manager of our Windsor location, and Ted is such a good guy. He's also head of our employee engagement committee, and he helps moderate that. And it's just a really great thing that he does for the employees and for his staff, and he also teaches photography. So awesome, I'm glad you're watching. And Ashby, selfish, clueless people makes it bad for everybody. Absolutely, so true. Yeah, I just get disgusted when I read stuff like that. And Shelly, my wife is watching. Merry Christmas, everyone. For those of you who don't know, Shelly is an actual elf. Like, she knows Santa. So if you do see Shelly and she gives you like a thumbs up or something, then you've got good luck for the rest of the year. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right. Okay, moving on. 10 things to leave behind in 2025. What, Bryan?
I said my wife's a nurse and she can fly.
My wife's a nurse and she can fly, he says. Why can she fly? Because she gets the helicopters? Nurses are way better than normal people, for sure. Okay, 10 things to leave behind in 2025. Again, the point of the conversation today is to help you cleanse and help you reset your stressed and frustrated creative mind. A lot of things that people do, they don't think they're doing. Hopefully this might kind of pinpoint some of those behaviors that we all have that kind of resonate with you and think, hey, I should do this. And it helps. So first of all, thing number 1, gear guilt. Right? I think we all have it. Stop apologizing for the camera you own. If it makes photos you love, that's enough. Cell phone. Older cameras. We have people coming in all the time that are buying point-and-shoot cameras from 15 years ago. I just had a lady earlier today. If that does the job for you, then that's the one for you. End of story. If you want more, come and talk to us. If you need something for something specific and what you have doesn't do that, come and talk to us. But if the tool you have works for you, gear guilt is real. People feel that they continuously have to upgrade. Perception, I guess, if you're a professional, can mean a lot. You walk into a gig with a basic camera, you might get looked at funny, but if you succeed and you do the job, that's what's going to pay the bills. Number 2, pixel peeping. I think we all do this to a certain degree, but zooming into 400%, guys, is not editing. It's self-harm, if anything, right? So don't do that, because when you zoom into 400%, you're magnifying all these pixels, you're spreading things out, it looks horrible. Not that we do 400%, but even beyond 100% is unnecessary for most things, especially if you're only sharing online. So yeah, pixel peeping, chuck it out the window. The fear of flash, and I can feel it already. I can feel Anne is about to yell at me. I can feel Michael Drukarsh is about to get pissed at me for this one. But flash isn't scary. It's a light bulb with confidence. It's always just light, guys. Bryan says this all the time. It's light. Think of the ambient light. Think of the light you're adding. And flash should make a lot more sense. Unless it's not syncing properly and you're having technical problems, and that can get frustrating, and I understand. So come in here and we'll help you with that too. Maybe sell you new lights. Could do that too. We'll worry about that. Anyway, so yeah, the fear of flash is definitely a thing. It shouldn't be scary. I know it is for a lot of people, but let that go in 2025. Make 2026 the year that you conquer flash and you understand it. And when you do, it's going to open up all kinds of new worlds to you. All right, thinking phones are cheating. I just realized that I didn't turn any of the lights on behind me. It's looked very boring right now behind me. So in the middle of my conversation, I'm going to do this because you know why? I can. Anyway, thinking phones are cheating. It's true. These are not the enemy, right? We sell cameras. People come in all the time. Well, if you sell too many phones, you're not going to have to sell cameras and all this other stuff. No. Each has its place. I did a whole show on that. I think we all understand now that phones are not cheating. They're scouting tools. You can use them like a scouting tool. You can use them as a reference. There's always a place for a phone in my life these days, but it's not essential, right? Okay, this one means something to me. Keeping hundreds of similar frames. Guys, I come home from a pro wrestling event with between 800 and 3,000 photos. I've stopped shooting bursts, so it's not the 3,000 range anymore. I started halfway through the year. I've gone to single photo only, which is weird for sports, but it's working so far. But I'm still finding I have a lot of different photos that are very similar. So one of the things I'm going to work on is getting rid of those old photos that didn't work. The blurry ones, the crappy ones, just get rid of them. I don't need to keep them anymore. I don't have enough hard drive space for these things anymore. So that's my goal for 2026. And anytime I have off, I'm going to be sitting at the computer deleting old hard drives full of bad photos and not keeping hundreds of similar frames. I think that's very important for me to get back to. So I kind of flagged that as one that was really dear to me. Shooting too wide all the time is number 7. We all do this. You know, you want to capture the shot and choose your frame afterward. But move, guys, use your feet. Move a little bit. We're allowed to do that. I'm not going to do a lot of it right now because that really just hurt what I just did. But, you know, move your feet, get closer, move farther. We can do this as photographers, change our composition by moving and not just, you know, shooting wide all the time. So number 7, don't shoot too wide all the time. Try and frame a little tighter. This is going to be a little confusing. Number 8, I'm calling it dirty glass syndrome. Brian's looking at me like, what are you talking about? Okay, it's dirty glass syndrome. We're not moody, we're just dusty, right? Clean it off. All this frustration, all this dust, all this stress that we may be feeling, I don't know, use a lens pen or something, clean it off. Oh, Steve's got the literal lens pen here. I'm being, you know, not so literal, but it's true. Here you go. Thank you, bud. Clean off the dust, clean off the grime, clean off the mood, let's say, and let's start shooting more natural, more pure, and seeing things without these layers of grit and dirt that we've been building up over the year. I know it sounds kind of weird, but I'm calling it dirty glass syndrome. Some people talk about glass half full, glass half empty. What if the glass is just dirty, right? What if it's just muddied up and we need to clean the glass, right? Thank you. All right, number 9 of the things to let go, chasing perfection. Chasing perfection. I know I do it. I think that there are certain expectations put on people when they get to a certain level with their photography, or me as a person who kind of puts myself out there as I might know what I'm talking about. There's a certain level of expectation people have of my work that I feel this pressure that I have to maintain. Now, I will always be that way. I think we all have those standards, self-standards of our work, and I think it's good to have that. But shoot the moment, not the myth, right? Live in the moment and shoot it and enjoy it, and you'll make great photos. We don't need to be thinking for that one perfect shot all the time. Just enjoy it. I always fall back on the whole quote from Scott Kelby where he says, if you see something interesting enough to pull over and make a photo of it, work the scene until you get that shot. But you know what? Sometimes you don't have that time. Sometimes you just make the shot and move on. Both are fine. You do what works for you. But if you're chasing perfection all the time, it could get pretty stressful as well. So stop chasing perfection. And the last one, number 10, shooting without intention. I talked about this on the DigiKnow. Have intention when you shoot. Think before you shoot. Ansel Adams, the master himself, coined the expression pre-visualization. Thinking before you make your photo. What am I trying to create here? I already said that. One question to think about. It's more about less spray and pray and more, let's create a very specific result and work toward that goal. If you don't know what you're shooting, the camera won't either. Word of advice. All right, and that is our 10 things to let go. Now let's get a little more positive. But before I do that, let's see if there's anybody chatting and asking any questions. I hear Henry's runs workshops, Anthony says. Yes, absolutely. I think I missed a bunch of stuff. Clues people, Stephen O. Flash is king, Anthony says. Ha ha ha, you read my mind. Yeah, and I get it. I get Flash is very daunting. And it is scary. But once you start doing it and having success with it, it's just light. Brian's like screaming. It's just light. But managing it, controlling it is difficult. Learning flashes takes you from taking images to making images, Anthony says. And I agree with that. Michael Drukar says 100%, Anthony. I just can't get things consistent. And that's where practice and having the proper equipment and making sure things are syncing correctly can really help. And also putting yourself in a position to make bad photos, right? Make a lot of bad photos so that you start to hone in on the ones that you like and the process that works for you. I made so many bad portraits over the years, And I'm just starting to get away from that and getting into more of a purposeful result. So to expect anybody to just jump into that world of portrait and light and flash and just get it off the top, I think is not realistic. Even 3 to 5 years in is still daunting. Bryan, what do you want to say?
Learn to eliminate light you don't need.
Yeah, I think that's a big key. And this is something I talk about for my light painting workshops. It's more about the light you don't need. Get rid of it, right? Where do you want to light and what don't you want to light? But that said, we all have our stressors. And the point of today's show is to let go of some of those stressors, not keep on harping on them. So I will move forward. When I first started shooting wrestling, I shot single shot because I didn't know my Z50 had burst or correctly didn't know how to use it. I love that. And it's true, once you start shooting in burst, you start to capture sequences of things. And I've stopped doing sequences now and just trying to time it to get that one shot. Anthony says, but here's a tip you can do and something I can tell you in 3 seconds. Use the same camera settings for the next 10 shoots. 1/100th of a second, ISO 200, and f5.6. Interesting. Okay. You'll learn how to use flash real quick, he says. Mike, I tried this evening with a 7-day Pixmas challenge. Thanks. He's the one who's done all the pictures, by the way. I think it's great. Anthony, I would change my aperture when learning, but if consistency is the issue, don't change your setting. Just worry about the light. Yeah. Good tip. Good tip. Thanks, Anthony. And by the way, again, Anthony, for those of you who don't know, Anthony is the guy that trains us. He knows what he's talking about. And also watch his videos on the Henry's website, henrys.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the main page and you'll see a lot of videos that Anthony's put together. It's really great stuff. Okay, let's move to 10 things to carry into 2026. And I think this is more important. Letting go of things, fine. It's great. Let's talk about positive things. Positive things like curiosity over perfection. So I just mentioned don't chase perfection, be curious. Curious photographers grow and perfect photographers quit. This is something I've seen so many times. People that are always striving to be perfect get tired of it and they get fatigued and they get burnout. So be curious, try new things. Don't have these high expectations of the results. See what you get, learn from it, come into our store, talk with us about it like a lot of you do, and I love that. And then bit by bit, step by step, you'll get this confidence and one day you'll realize something. Something will click and it'll just, from there forward, you'll just really enjoy it in a different way. Shooting fewer frames, but better frames. This goes back to, more spray and pray, right? Slow down, think, compose your photos differently. It feels better this way. It really does. I'm speaking from experience. When I did the whole Ziggy Stardust switch that I went through, it changed everything for me. Going from shooting 3,000 photos to 800 photos in an evening, when there's 7 matches and a lot of stuff going on in between, I felt more comfortable doing it. I came home with photos I enjoyed going through more. There wasn't as much of the redundancy that I would find normally. And just the whole process became more fun for me. So I really encourage people to shoot fewer frames, but better frames. Slow down, think, compose your photos the way you think you should. Number 3, build your real never out kit. Now here at Henry's, we have certain products that are never out. We always have stock. We can always replenish. We can always get these things for you. You should do this yourself. What is it that you use on a daily basis? Build a little kit of things that you use all the time. Your camera, your lens, your memory cards, your cleaning accessories, little trinkets that make your photography more enjoyable. Maybe you like a filter that has like a half filter that you can do funky things. Find these things that add to your personal creativity and build a little kit and make sure you keep that with you. Not the stuff that everybody on YouTube is telling you to have, not the little, what's in my bag things that everybody else does, because that's their thing. Find your thing. Find what works for you, the stuff you actually use, and build your own little never out kit. All right, 4. This is something that I think we should all do. Take one personal project seriously. I've got a personal project I've been thinking about for years. This is the year. 2026 is the year I'm going to do it. Steve's going to help me do it. And probably everybody's going to help me do it. Everybody who wants to. It's a big project. It's a light painting project. And it's something that I've been drawing out and working on for a really long time. That's my one project this year that I really, really want to get done. Maybe not complete, but at least 1 or 2 of the 10 photos, I want to get that going. So do it for you. Take one project for yourself seriously. Work toward it, plan it, organize it, and make it happen. Number 5, and this is something that is extremely important for mental health: protect your creative time. I pause after I say that because it's important. Photography is therapy for a lot of us. Photography is where we go to when everything else is stressful and we have something that we can control and we can do that we enjoy just for ourselves. Very few things in life allow us that freedom to do something just for yourself. So protect that creative time. Guard it like it's medicine. Make sure you're taking care of that time. So when you book it, enjoy it, spend it the way you need to, and just soak it up and book as much of it as you can because it's important. Now, here's another thing that you may get back on me. Embrace artificial light, right? So not the sun. Start embracing that light, whether it's an LED light that I've just turned on behind me, whether it's a flash, whether it's, any kind of light source that you can bring into a story to tell your story differently. Just embrace artificial light. The LEDs and flash are freedom, not fear. Control the scene and embrace it. A learning experience for me recently was I was shooting for New Wave Wrestling, a whole new wrestling company that just started. They brought me in to do ringside, and they had another gentleman there doing portrait. His name is Showcase Wrestling. Siraj is his name. Excellent young man. But he does this thing with constant lights and like a blue gel in the background and just constant light. And I've never shot portrait with constant light because A, it's not really bright. B, if I want to control depth, f8, f16, something, or not f16, but f8-ish for a portrait with a lot of depth of 2 or 3 people in a frame, deep wise, I want to have more depth there. Those LED lights don't have enough power to really give me that without my ISO raising. So I've never considered shooting with this kind of light, but his pictures are well received. All the wrestlers are sharing them. You know what I mean? So whether you have this preconception of it has to be perfect or you have to use this light or that light, just light something, try it, see how it looks, and embrace artificial light. Before I go any farther, we're on number 7. I'm just going to check to see if there's any other comments before I go too long. Don't think so. Looking forward to seeing Anthony flash video on Henry's website. And okay, yes, absolutely. Anthony, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I think that was a test. I would change. Okay, yeah, perfect. And that's a good little hint there for Anthony. I think that would be great if you were to put some of those how to use flash videos out. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe Bryan and I'll do it. Bryan's still looking at me like, don't talk to me. All right. So number 7, create small stories, not only big ones. A 6-photo sequence beats a 600-photo folder. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. When I'm done editing an event, I will post 200 or 300 pictures from the event out of the 800 or whatever I shoot. Now I'm doing this because I know the wrestlers want to see themselves. So if there's a match and you have, this guy does some good stuff and this guy does some good stuff, I want to have good stuff from both of them represented within that match of photos. So I'm putting out more photos for that reason. But rather than sharing, 30 or 40 of those on Instagram, I'll share 3 or 4. Just some highlights, just to, let people know that I'm still shooting and let people know that I'm still doing something interesting. But I'll curate those photos so that I feel that they are special. They're going to generate a little bit more attention or be appreciated more than just on the surface level. So creating small stories, not only big ones, is basically just saying you don't need to share everything. You don't need to share, 600 photos of one story. Share the ones that matter, and that might be all that you need. Number 8, we're almost at the end, guys. It's already 5:30, which is good because I'm running late. Print something monthly. I think this is something we all forget. And by the way, that also includes coming here to our store and using our kiosk and printing up to an 8x12. But seeing your photos on a print is so cool. This past week, my photo was reviewed by some of the top wrestling people in Europe and so on. And they did this little video. and it was really interesting that they basically were selling prints during this video. So the photographer, every once there was a break or something like that, he would hold up one of his prints and say, "Oh, and by the way, you can go and buy one of these limited edition prints." And I'm like, I got to print more. So print something monthly. Come on in, make yourself a print 4x6 to an 8x12, or print larger than that if you really feel the impact of your image. But seeing your photos printed means more than just seeing them online. Pixels aren't real unless they exist in your hands. My friend Ross Chevalier says it's not a photo unless you made it print. I don't go that far, but it's a good thought. Number 9, share your work with intention. There's that word again, right? Not everything is for Instagram. Some photos are for remembering, just being there. Some photos are for the share. So be more have more intention when you're sharing your photos rather than just kind of putting everything out there. And last but not least, keep photography fun. Don't get into debates online with people about this camera being better or that camera being better. Don't go into my camera's better than your camera gimmick. Enjoy what you're doing. Have fun with photography. Express yourself through an image and keep photography fun. If it's not fun, something's broken and it's not the camera. It's light. Brian's pointing at the light. It's light. That's right. Okay, guys. So here's a small viewer challenge for you for the reset. I'd love to see 3 things that you're leaving behind and 3 things that you're going to carry forward into the next year. Feel free to post them in the YouTube chat just below where you're watching here. I'd love to see what you have to say about that. It could be fun. If you want, use the hashtags the weekly BrYangle Report. Use the hashtag #IShootForMe because that is my hashtag in life. And of course, Henry's WBR, which is weekly BrYangle Report. So even Henry's camera. What?
Leaving behind?
Oh, leaving behind. Brian says no wives. Yes, no, that's keep your wife with you. All right. Thank you guys, everybody who's watched. I really appreciate it. The community has been amazing this year. And for us to be welcomed into the Henry's YouTube channel, I appreciate that as well. Anthony, thank you. Thank you, everybody at head office. Before we move any further, let's just see. There's some more comments here. Okay, so looking forward to seeing another video. Thank you, Ted. Aperture MC or Ace RGBs are fun. Keep the lights in close. That's these lights right here. The Aperture MC. That's the MC Pro, actually. And this is the MC right here. Magnetic. These are really great little lights. I have 2 of these myself. I named them Bill and Ted. So, what's that?
4.
You have 4 of those, Steve says. They're great lights. Brian has 3. Anthony says, hint taken. Yes, very good. I'm guilty and do the same thing, Jim says. My office has a lot of my photos printed and framed. They make my space happy. Michael Drukar says, there you go, right? I print a variety in my clinic space as well. Love seeing my images as well. It's so true. I love that you guys are doing that. All right. When we return on January 7th, because this is the last show of the year, I'll be doing our annual Henry's Staff Top Products of 2025 show. It's the 2nd year we're doing it, so now it's annual. I'm very excited to get all the replies back from Henry's employees. If, by the way, there are Henry's employees watching right now, find my survey, fill it out. Well, can't wait to hear what you have to say about all the things. Again, thank you, Henry's, for doing this for us. And more importantly, thank you to Steve. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you to Joseph. And thank you to our store manager, Aurora, for being here for me when I do the shows, for giving me support. I'm just one guy in a store that thought it would be fun to do a show. And next thing you know, I'm on the Henry's YouTube channel. So that's pretty cool. And don't forget, though, there is still the January challenge, Ghost in the Machine, that we're reviewing in February. That's about it. And all I'm going to leave you with now is photography isn't about the gear we buy. It's about the weight we put down and the things we choose to carry. Thanks for being here this year. I'm Brian Weiss, and I'll see you in 2026.